I have right now Qudus Alalafia as a legal practitioner. He joins virtually from Abuja. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me, Dapo. Good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening. Let me first start by asking your general opinion of what we are seeing as recent developments in Rivers State. Yesterday, the governor tried to gain entry into the assembly quarters, but allegedly was locked out. So right now, it looks like for some political observers and speculators, it looks like the odds are against Governor Nyesom Fubara. What's your opinion?
I think we shouldn't personalize it. We shouldn't look at it as between Siminalayi Fubara himself as the executive governor and the speaker. I think we should rather look at it across the line of the expected synergy between the executive council and as well as the legislative arm of government in Rivers State. Of course, expectedly, a state cannot move on. Governance cannot be easy where we have the executive and the legislature at loggerheads. It is a bit, for me, it is a bit, I'm a bit surprised that with the level of information available to Mr. Governor as the executive, as the chief executive officer of the state, he could move to the House of Assembly when he's expected to know that the House is under lock and key. By what we know, they usually have advancing. Instead of that, for me, it's quite, that show is actually very unnecessary. But like I said, we would not look at it in personal, we will look at it collectively. So for me, what I would say is that governance in Rivers State has broken down. Yes, has broken down. And with the way they are going, if care is not taken, it may completely lead to a situation in law we call anarchy. And when there is anarchy, it calls for the federal government to declare a state of emergency. So for me, I believe that I will prevail upon the two things, both the executive and the legislature. Let them all come together in the interests of the state. I'm so happy that all my personal submissions and opinion legally has been upheld the Supreme Court of Nigeria. If you could recall, I said there is no way the governor could have validly presented budgets to about 3 or 4 members of the House of Assembly to the detriment of others. And subsequently, in my submission on this program, I said, as a result of the Court of Appeal judgment, even before we await the Supreme Court judgment, it means that all the actions of the governor, from the appointment of commissioners to presentation of budget to all the government expenses, are unlawful, illegal, null and void, which falls under gross misconduct, which could be served with an impeachable, sanction.
Okay.
But along the line, since the governor has now retracted his steps to comply with the Supreme Court judgment, to say, okay, I am back to where I said I would not be, I would only prevail on the legislative arm of government to look beyond what is actually happening in Rivers State, and let all parties come together to make a very successful administration. Thank you very much.
All right, Qudus, you said in your opening summation that you would not like to look at it from a personal perspective. That's the personalities involved. But it will be pretty much difficult to isolate that because it's very intertwined. And I think we'll delve into that. But first, let's go on this quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and I still have my guest with me, Qudus Alalafia, legal practitioner, joining from Abuja. Well, we are discussing matters arising as regards Rivers State politics. The recent development yesterday where the governor allegedly was denied entry into the assembly quarters. Qudus, in your opening remark, you said that you would rather like to isolate the persons from the office, and you chose to speak alongside the offices and not the persons. But it's pretty almost impossible to do that because the persons are the major player. For those who have been following the politics in Rivers, they know it's more or less or feels like a power standoff between the current governor and the immediate past governor of the state. So I'm still going to come back to ask you, looking at this power play right now, with the court judgment, coming into all of this mix, how does this define in any way the politics of Rivers State, in the coming weeks?
There is a lot politically and as well legally. In the line of politics, you may see alignment, you may see realignment, you may see defection. You may see, like I said, if care is not taken, some level of lawlessness, if care is not taken. But on the part of law, if care is not taken as well, the governor may have to face because of hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you said the governor might have to face.
Because of, the governor may face impeachment proceedings because that judgment has shown that all his actions so far were done illegally, were done unconstitutionally, were done to the detriment or were done in defiance to the Constitution. So these are what may likely happen at the end of the day. And of course, if you recall earlier today, we heard it in the news that the Rivers State House of Assembly, they are going into probing the chief judge of the state, coming at a time when impeachment is raveling all over the state. And everybody knows that the chief judge has a key role to play in the impeachment procedure or proceedings of the governor. So these are what, we expect that it may likely happen as consequence to the court judgment. Thank you very much.
All right. Some feel that the governor, might have been maybe misinformed or misguided, legally. Hence, this, series of events or situations or court proceedings, have happened. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that the governor might have been misinformed or misguided, along legal lines?
Thank you very much for that question. That's a very fantastic one. Now I'll be so realistic. As a lawyer, as a practicing one at that, I am aware that clients who give instruction to lawyers sometimes usually ask us to do certain things in the line of their emotions. But by the rules of professional conduct, and that is why when we say anything is a profession, it means there is a law guiding that particular field. By the rules of the professional conduct, by the Legal Practitioners Act and all other enactments, as lawyers, we are meant to look beyond what our client is saying to give a very sound, valid, and professional advice. I am not a party or part of the members of the legal team of the government. But one thing that I'm aware of is that there are some times that when we give our professional advice to our clients and they refuse, there are times we withdraw. If you're not following my advice, I withdraw. However, the peculiarity of the legal team or the peculiarity of the legal representation of the governor, is that from the commissioner, that's the AG, and other members, it's looking like employer-employee relationship. And where it is employer-employee, you, as an employee, your opinion sometimes does not count. You follow what your employer is saying stricto sensu, different from when someone employ your service independently as a lawyer. So in short, of course, everyone has a right of representation. You have the right to be represented. But what we are saying is that sometimes when things are very clear, for against majority, minority against majority, it's clear. So there are some few times we expect we expect certain level of actions.
But in this case, in what area specific?
But of course, the governor is the alpha and omega of his case. He decides wherever. Because if you don't do it, he removes it from you and gives it to another person.
How do you think the governor should have approached this situation legally?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, very well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. The current action of the government, what he is doing right now, is what that ought to have been done some months back. Prior to the appointment of commissioners, prior to budget presentation, there is a judgment of court. Whether High Court, whether Court of Appeal, there is a judgment of court. Why don't you look towards that line instead of ventilating your grievances from trial court up to Supreme Court? And thankfully, he came outside to say he has even regretted spending huge amount of money on that suit instead of facing governance. So ordinarily, we expect that once you look at the nature and the likelihood of you succeeding in a suit, once you look at it, you'll be able to say, oh, on the substantive justice, we have no case here, except if you are going to be running around technicality. Sometimes, yes, parties win cases on technicalities, but the Supreme Court is a court of policy. You don't go there based on technicality. They do substantive justice to every suit. So for me, as a person, what the governor is doing is what he ought to have done from inception. Thank you very much.
All right, Qudus, let's move away slightly from that and let's talk about the status of the defection of not the status per se, but the defection of the lawmakers, that's the 27 of them, which of course has continued to generate reaction. If the law says, prescribes that if you defect from a party to another party, your seat be made vacant, and then we are seeing this, the Supreme Court judgment say this 26 men are still bona fide members of the House. I mean, where does this leave an average observer of the situation here? I mean, is the law contradicting itself?
No, not at all. It is the people that are contradicting everything. You see, everything is about evidence. If I come online to say I have defected, of course, before I can defect on paper, there must be documents to back it up. There must be evidence to show that I have defected from A to B. Now, perhaps maybe by letter of resignation of membership and some other subsequent actions. All these because the court will not act in suspicion or on suspicion. The court will not act on the basis of what everyone is saying on the streets. Anybody can say whatever they like. But what we are saying is that are there enough evidence to substantiate the fact that they have defected? So that is what we are saying. And that is why in law, you don't rush. Even when someone has made an allegation, or even where someone has attempted or has made some certain assertion, the law is he who asserts must prove. So if you are saying they have defected, then what are the documents to show that they have defected? Are you in receipt of their resignation letter? That resignation letter, has it been submitted? That resignation, if it has been submitted, has it taken effect? What if someone has stipulated a time frame within which is going to resign? For example, I'm saying, oh, by the 30th of March, I'm going to resign. Which is an intention, at best, an intention to resign, not a resignation. So it is not a matter of what anyone has come to the air to say, but what is on paper. If I have a car and I claim that car to be mine, do I have documents to back it up to show that I am the owner of the car? Which means it is the document itself that is the car, not the physical car you are seeing. And that is the way law operates.
All right, Qudus, Qudus, if you can hear me, I'd like to bring in Buffett to join this particular conversation right now. It's great to have you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, it's great to have you join this conversation. I believe you've been listening to what Qudus has been saying for a while now. But what do you make of what we saw yesterday, where it was alleged that the governor of the state was locked out of the assembly quarters?
You could see the politics that is being, you can see the politics clearly that is being played out. The pro-Wike House of Assembly members are hell-bent on causing chaos in Rivers. They are hell-bent. They are the one that gave 48 hours ultimatum. Now the governor, the #1 citizen of the state, has obliged and said, okay, let me come and attend to your demands. Let me come and attend, within the stipulated time frame that you have given to me. Let me come and tender, the budget as prescribed by law. As the Supreme Court has given budget, I'm coming to do that. You lock me out. It is laughable. It is an act of impunity. It's an act. It is disgraceful, and indeed, it is laughable. It reduces the legislative arm of government. The governor did everything needed. He put a call across. He sent a letter signed by himself. The governor of a state has signed a letter, and you said you locked him out. That is laughable. That is a punishable offense. If it's a country that is working, those lawmakers, should be relaxing somewhere, because it is embarrassing. It's a national and international embarrassment for us as a people, for Rivers people. It is laughable and it's regrettable that they are playing a script of a man that is not in the helm of affair, a man that is just sitting in Abuja, that is only desirous. His desire is to put Rivers State to penury, is to cause the Rivers people to cry and weep for hunger. Is that the man that those lawmakers who oblige and desert their residents because a sitting governor is coming, to pay a visit?
Okay,
they are the one that invited.
Bedford, looking at the situation of things right now, for people watching the drama in Rivers State, it seems like Governor Fubara is not at a vantage point. Some are even speculating that, is at the verge of an impeachment process.
Let us see how they will try the impeachment, because this matter is beyond the Supreme Court giving verdict. The people are the owners of democracy. The people are the owners of democracy, the conscience of the people. Those are the owners of democracy. Democracy is not owned, by the court.
But nobody is above the law.
That kind of sentimental, excuse me, that has not.
Bedford, but you also know that the law of the land is also supreme.
My brother, yes, the law of the land is supreme, but you know that there's nobody that is infallible. The law, the decision reached by those 7 justice is questionable. It has, even on international platform, there are questions here and there. You know, these are people that I heard that lawyer was talking about intention and all of that. In law, of course, I know that electronic transmission, electronic facts can also be tendered in court. And these persons, you know, via the electronic media, say, no, we are no longer members of this party. We have moved to this party. That is the law. But however, you know, the justice system has been on the flashlight. You know, for a period of time. Parotimi also mentioned certain level of injustice meted on the people. Recently, you could see the judgment about that man that was self-defense. You see what the Supreme Court said about that.
Okay.
There is a problem in our judiciary. There is a problem in the entire Nigerian structure. And this urgent reform. Today is River State, and I tell you for a fact, 27 persons cannot dictate the pace for over 4 million persons in River State. And I tell you, the people will rise and will speak. And when the people speak, when you stretch the people to an elastic limit, the rebound is always usually very dangerous.
So basically what you're saying
is very fragile.
So basically what you're saying at Bedford is that even if maybe the law is not so much on the side of Governor Fubara and maybe the politics, the people are strongly behind the governor of the state. Is that what you're saying?
The people are solidly behind. Yes, the people are solidly behind. They have saying for a statement of fact. You can see the sentimental disposition of certain person. But you see that the galvanizing of the Rivers people, they are for him. This is beyond that he is an job man. The job coloration or the ethnic coloration that is being given by former Governor Wike, you see that is not a statement of fact. You see that he even made a fool of himself, he embarrassed himself on national TV to say that job people are minority of minority in River State. He is a very laughable and it's embarrassing. However, the people of River State are behind Governor Fubara. They are solidly behind him. And I tell you the truth, when the people come out, the owners of democracy are not people sitting in the court of law to make decisions. The owners of democracy are the people.
All right, because you are really pressed for time, Bedford. Just quickly, let me chip this in. You mentioned the former governor of the state, who is now the minister of the FCT, in person of Nyesom Wike. Yesterday, he did, of course, host a press conference where he addressed quite a number of issues, and some of the things he actually did, highlight in that media chat. He sort of toned down the issue of violence, because some are speculating that maybe in the coming weeks, should the governor be impeached, there will be violence. And you spoke about the job people too, which in a way, some believe he trivialized. I'd like you to react particularly on these issues and some of the other things that maybe you are not comfortable with as a bona fide member of River State.
My brother can tell you about everything that Wike said on national TV. I can tell you with confidence it was under the influence of alcohol. So a man that is at that level of alcoholic cannot be taken serious. You could see that he has made blunders, several blunders while making that.
You know what? Bedford. So it doesn't look like I'm speaking out of context there. Let's just listen to some of the things he said at that media chat.
If you have committed an offense to be impeached, what is wrong? Is it a criminal offense? It's provided in the Constitution.
You can't just wait till 2027 to vote him out.
Am I a member of the Assembly? The point I'm making, if you have committed an infraction of the Constitution and the Assembly deems it fit to say you should be impeached, let me tell you, politics is not played just like this. Is it the first person that people have threatened about impeachment? Don't you know what to do? What is all this hula value that they will impeach? And let me tell you, and I have heard people say, oh, if they impeach him, there will be breakdown of law and order. Rubbish. Hold on, rubbish. Nonsense. Which is just nonsense. Listen, nonsense. Rubbish. Tell me who are the militants? Who is not a militant? Who is born as a militant? No, tell me the person.
Okay, so Bedford, I believe you had it yourself. You said that the minister of the FCT, who of course is was the former governor of Rivers State, was speaking under the influence of alcohol. Do you still maintain that?
Yes, of course, I maintain that strongly and this disposition, because for him to even mention that the judges are minority of minority, It has clearly indicated my statement. Equerry local government is just 4 in Rivers State. Just 4 local governments in Rivers State. In the entire Niger Delta, Equerry has only 4 local governments. And here is on national TV making assertions. And now let me ask a question: what is the offense of Governor Fubara that the hula baloo about impeachment? What is the constitutional fraction that he has committed? What has he done? He acted based on an injunction of the lower court to say that this person have defected. They are no longer members of the House of Assembly. And now the Supreme Court said differently. And he has said, no, I'm going to obey everything that the Supreme Court has said. What is the fraction there? What has he done that warrants? Let us see them try impeachment. Let us see. We don't want violence. We are peace-loving people. The Ijaw people have been known for peace. In fact, when Rivers State is created based on the sacrifices made by Ijaw people. And so we cannot sabotage the peace of Rivers State by just the influence of one man that is taking laws into his hand, that is the only one that is correct. He's the only one that is right. He's the only one that knows how to interpret the rule of law. Let us see what will be the issue for impeachment. Let us see it. That's it. And, and the people of Rivers State will rise and resist. It's not the job people. Let me mind you. I'm minding my words. It's not the job people that will rise. The Rivers people will rise and speak. Rivers is a multidimensional ethnic.
All right, Bedford Berefa. I'm sorry, but we really need to go. It's been a privilege having you speak. Just quickly before we go, let me just take 30 seconds. Qudus, your final thoughts. What do you see happening legally in the coming weeks? 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, if care is not taken, impeachment proceeding may escalate the whole issue. The legislature may say they want to impeach Mr. Governor, but above all, what I'm saying in essence is, since Mr. Governor has come back to the table, to the round table, let all parties come back for the purpose of the good people of Rivers State and move the state forward. Thank you very much.
All right, Qudus Alalafia, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time on the program today.
It's my kind pleasure. Thank you.
Also, many thanks to you, to Bedford Berefa. Well, this is the beat we can take today. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us across social media with the same handle. There you have it on your screen. And good news, if you have GoTV, you can watch us live on channel 23 on GoTV. We are there. My name is Dakbo Adigboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.